Fear Agent is the story of an alien exterminator, alcoholic, Heath Huston, and his adventures in the great unknown. It's basically a Barfly meets Buck Rogers kind of a romp. It's pretty all over the board, you know. I mean, we've done a lot of time travel stuff, and we go back to his origin. He was basically a trucker when these three alien races, they come down and invade Earth. And so he eventually, with some other guys, some other Texans, start a band of fear agents and drive the alien invaders off of Earth. But in order to do so, he has to commit genocide on one of the alien races. So he's pretty well ostracized and sent out into space, where he makes his dailies and his whiskey as an alien exterminator. And that leads to all kinds of other shenanigans and craziness. Well, there's Heath Huston, the main fear agent. His wife Charlotte, who's president of Earth in the future. And it's basically just as like schlocky and B as we can go, with like sort of a modern storytelling technique. So the trappings and the aesthetic are sort of Wally Wood-inspired 1950s sci-fi shenanigans. And so the cast changes quite a bit. We've got a sort of spunky Barbarella-esque type character in Mara Esperanza. Some of the other important characters were, you know, Otto, and Otto is sort of one of Heath's old friends from Earth that we experience when we do in the Last Goodbye in the origin story. We meet Otto, and he's the catalyst for a lot of what Heath goes through and does towards the end. And when he snaps and makes his decision to take such extreme measures to get, you know, this alien race off of Earth, Otto is sort of what happens to Otto is sort of the event of that. So it's a pretty large cast, but we always focus on Heath best we can. The new run is Eye Against Eye, and it's basically a sci-fi western, and everything that's been happening in the first 4 volumes will sort of congeal in this 5th volume, Eye Against Eye, where we find out that what seems to be a random series of events is actually well, it hasn't been orchestrated so much as there's an underlining theme throughout it all. I'm just trying not to give it away, because there's a reveal in this that I don't think people will see coming, where everything that's happened so far will make a lot of sense, and it's not just random adventures, but in fact pieces of a puzzle and a kind of a conspiracy even. So, and then it's almost the Unforgiven in outer space. Heath's at the lowest low, and whether or not he gets back up is sort of the crux of what's going to happen in this arc. And all future arcs are going to be predicated sort of on what's happened with this. And it gives Tony and I an excuse to draw and write sci-fi western stuff. I think I've got it plotted for at least another 3 arcs with what I've got in mind. And sometimes, like with my book Sea of Red, around issue 10, we just knew that the arc we were in was the last. It just felt right, so we ended it. With Fear Agent, the arcs sort of tell stories to me, and they give me more ideas for future arcs, so it keeps perpetuating itself. If it gets to a point where I feel that the character has gone through his arc and there's nothing left to say with him, then we'll definitely end it. You know, we won't drag it on.